From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday here on LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we have a million breaking news stories that are all impacting everything across the board. A lot of breaking news in this recording. First, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the breaking news signals more months of checks are possible. Then we'll go over the recon where the fourth stimulus is located and why that recon may be giving you more money and could be giving you an extension of unemployment benefits. Then we cut to the voting process. I'll answer all your questions across the board. The July 4th, the July 5th, the vote, the bill, the dates, everything you need to know is covered in the final 15 minutes of this video. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, which got a major surprise as well. As inflation went the other direction today, the 10-year Treasury note plummeting, world markets are crashing, banking markets are crashing. What's going on? I'll have all the details for you. And then we go over the thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get. $10,000, $20,000. It's your day to get this big money as well. It's a big noontime with dozens of breaking news stories that all impact all your money. It's starting right now, and it's starting on LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day, almost to the weekend. Away we go. You deserve a weekend. We all deserve a weekend. How's the weather? It's been a little bit muggy here, but it's getting better. Need that onshore breeze, but haven't gotten it yet. Ugh, can we please have it? Someone fan me. How's the weather where you are? Jump on the live chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather? A lot of breaking news. I don't think in the existence of this channel have I seen so much breaking news in 8 hours where everything changed literally within 8 hours. It's just shocking. So stay with me at the very end because there's so much happening today. Number one, we're going to go over that fourth stimulus check and why that breaking news is suggesting there may be more months of checks. Number two, we'll be going over the recon process where the checks are located, they represent, and why that recon process may give you more sums of money and potentially more unemployment benefits. Then we go over the third part of this video, which answers all the questions you've been asking. The July 4th date, what happened, the bill, the voting, the bipartisan, that voting, what's going on, when, where, and the July 15th, everything you need to know. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which had a major shocker today as well. Breaking news on that. 10-year Treasury note plummeting. What does that mean about our fifth stimulus, our SSI, STI, VA reform? Everything's changing by the minute. And then we go the tens of twenties of thousands of dollars of viewers are getting. Nisi getting $23,000, John getting $12,000, Art getting 3 items. Big news and big money, and this is LA, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and then taped in the afternoons. I'm live with you direct from Santa Monica right now with breaking news all about the big money happening across the board. I'm next back with you afternoons LA at 3 and then evenings at 5 and then overnights crypto, evenings crypto, and then sirloin at 8. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Thank you for the enormous subscriber growth this week and all the viewership. And trust me, it's days like this that you want to subscribe because there is so much breaking news that if you miss today's recordings, you are going to be shocked because it's totally different than yesterday. And also like this video. Every time you like the video, it helps in the algorithm rankings. Let's get right into that breaking detail as we turn to what's going on with first, the fourth stimulus check and the monthly checks. It was the start of last week where I said, you know, those legislators have always said pandemic plus 1 year, but they may say the pandemic's over. And then by middle of the week, I think it was Wednesday of last week, if not Thursday, LA County made that major announcement. And LA County said, pandemic's not over. Warren Buffett said, pandemic's not over. And then the airline said, pandemic's not over. And so I said, well, you know, maybe it's not considered over. Today, the whole world changed. Let's go over what's going on. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senate, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, 2,000 first month and 1,000 thereafter. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street, senators want to pay you this. Oh my goodness. Wow. Now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. So it's this issue. It's the pandemic issue. And now you've seen how we've gone from maybe they're going to say the pandemic's over, then a week ago today, where LA County started the snowball. LA County always starts everything, saying maybe the pandemic's not over. And then today, the pandemic's not over. Today, it's starting to look very clear that the pandemic is absolutely not over, is actually getting very bad. Missouri, ICU beds are at 80% capacity, we learned this morning. Number 2, Japan, state of emergency, banning spectators from the Olympic Games, pandemic. And there are just pandemic issues all across the board, as Delta is now really a very serious issue. So if that's the case, then the House bill gives you pandemic plus 1 year. It's a lot more than 6 checks. And suddenly, when we're looking at House versus Senate, the universe just sort of changed very quickly. In just 7 days, we're now, and well, like 24 hours, it's very clear now, the House bill pandemic plus 1 year, when we're looking like we're going back into the pandemic, not coming out of it, would be a lot more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Vote right now. Jump in the live chat and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. And I think you have an opinion. I think your opinion may have changed. I know my opinion changed. It started to change last week, and it's really changed now. Vote House or Senate. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that everyone who got a third stimulus check would get a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of 4, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. Thank goodness. A fourth stimulus check is a check that would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. Congratulations. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in waves. It's not a waivable check. So if you do see the check at the Pancake Bistro tonight, and the check is trying to get some pancakes, and you try to wave at the check and it doesn't wave back, hey, check, is a little syrupy there you're doing. A little syrupy, a little bit too buttery. What are you doing there? That's just, glucose overload. What is that? And the check doesn't wave back. Rude check. You're not supposed to be flipping pancakes. What do you think you are, a congressional leader? That's all they do is just flip pancakes. They don't, write bills. It's not a rude check. He's just impersonating your senators who haven't written the bipartisan bill yet. That's coming up later in this video. So there you go. The fourth stimulus check would come in a monthly basis, and the Democrats still represent you would get the fourth stimulus check in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August. And while Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi said over 1,000 times that the final vote for the recon would be by July 4th, it clearly did not happen. I'll explain to you why not. And then I'll explain to you what next. That's coming up in the third part of this video. I'll be going over the vote, the bills, the drafting, where they are, where they're heading, and everything you need to know. All your questions are answered in the final 15 minutes of this video. It's a bombshell. But before that, in the second part of the fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, we'll be going over the recon and why that recon, which is getting bigger and bolder, should be more bold and should have unemployment benefits in there and things like student loan debt forgiveness. I'll be going over that coming up next. But let's get a preview of later in this video. It's fifth stimulus. And fifth stimulus got another surpriser today. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this. The 10-year Treasury note fell 1.25% in just a few hours. I mean, not 0.25%, 1.25%? Oh, this is changing everything for my SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. I'll go over why this is big news you need to know and be informed about how it's impacting your future for this SSI reform. But first, let's get some money. Get that pen and paper ready, because this is what this channel does. Jump in the live chat if you've gotten any money for this channel. Post it right now. Post the rent you got. Post the utilities you got. Post the SNAP on an annualized basis that you got. I'm so proud of you. You've just been doing a superb job last night on evenings and afternoons. LALATE, you just saw the people. The numbers were enormous. Nisi, $23,000 for this channel, $20,000 for rent, money for utilities, money for Snap. Art Sullivan got rent, utilities, and Snap. John got Snap of $12,000. Last night, a viewer after viewer was saying $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 for rent. Over and over again. I was wrong. I thought rent was $5,000, approximately 4 to 6 months of rent. It's not. It's apparently $10,000 to $13,000 or $10,000 to $20,000. I said utilities a couple $100. I was wrong. Viewers are getting $3,000 for utilities. I said that Snap, I see a few viewers getting $5,000 to $6,000. We have now viewers getting $12,000 for Snap. So jump on the live chat and let's go over all the incredible details. This is what this channel does. Get people money. And this is becoming very similar to December 2020. When we were waiting for second stimulus to go out, it was not going out. It was not becoming a law. The checks were not landing. It was December. And I stepped up. I got viewers $250,000 of rent. I got viewers like Tyrone, $15,000 to cover his family's rent in Boston, all through the holidays. I changed people's holidays because I got them enormous sums of money. And I want you to do that right now. I want you to get this big money with me. So get that pen paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, understand this is Crayola blue, so we're good. We're going to reach out to different places, and each place has different eligibility. If one says no, you reach out to the next. All right, you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, your state house authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's mixtape drop date track list. They don't know these words. They don't want to know these words. It hurts their ears when they think about Mitch's mixtape. So don't say that to them. You don't want to hurt their ears. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money for rent. And yeah, all those viewers who got $12,000, $10,000. Keep on doing your willy. I'm really excited for you. Then the second half, the second pot of money is wonderful. It is money for Snap. And as I said to you before, John got $12,000 for this. Congratulations, John. But viewers were getting $6,000 all last night in the evenings LA. Post what you got as well. If you got Snap or you got a rent or you got utilities, post anything right now that you got in this chat, even if you posted before, and tag me. It's exciting. How much money is Snap? It's a lot. A family of 4 in Hawaii gets now upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% nationally between now and December. So go get it. Len Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom, Gail, got it as well. Remember, Snap you get from Department of Agriculture. Call them up. It's money for your food. If you qualify for a third stimulus check, why would you not get Snap? They pay for your food. I mean, why would you not get Snap? And why would you wait to get Snap? It's not retroactive. So don't wait, 5 months to get it because you're not going to get it retroactive. So congratulations to all those viewers. Congratulations to you as well. And you're killing it. $16,000 for Snap for family 4 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, but viewers are getting a lot more than that. And we're only 13 minutes in this video. I got more for you right now. Viewers are getting back the money back from the state due to overpayment and computer error for unemployment. One viewer 2 nights ago was in the evenings LA. She said, I got it. I think it was $3,000. I've had another viewer get $5,000. What is this? This is the refund of the return of the money from IRS due to overpayment, due to computer error. So where direct deposit, otherwise, and then can you track it? Yeah, call them up and say, hey, state, where's that check due to your computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last part of the money is the refund check from IRS. If you're in the live chat, post your comments right now if you've gotten it. Ka got it, Margaret got it, Tim got it, Michael got it. What is it? It is the refund. How much? Well, here you go. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time. Go to iris.gov, set up a username and password, and you'll be shocked what it will reveal. Stuff that you never knew and sort of don't want to know. It'll reveal the taxes in your file, the taxes you paid. Does the Crayola Crown box have lavender as a color in there? Does it have the color lilac in there? And if it doesn't, who stole it? And then it'll reveal the check you're getting back from IRS. Congratulations. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second and major part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021 starting right now. And it's all impacted by this insanely enormous breaking news minutes ago. First, let's start with where we are today. It it was over 2 weeks ago on that Wednesday that the recon was split. Before that recon was split, there was a problem. It was not passable. What does not passable mean? It meant that the recon at that time had money for you in there, plus money for roads and bridges, and was too big. And they polled Democrats, Nancy and Chuck and the president did, and they would not pass something that big. So Nancy, Chuck, and Jalapa, the president, understood there was a problem. They had to take some stuff out of the recon and shrink it. And what did they take out? Roads and bridges. And when did they do that? What I call the split date on this channel, which was 2 Wednesdays ago. And that became the split. Suddenly, there was two paths, recon, your stuff, and bipartisan, roads and bridges. Again, your stuff, as they represent, is in the recon. And then roads and bridges put into the bipartisan. So this was a game changer. You need to understand how this was a game changer. If you call a vote on something that is not passable and it doesn't pass, you're done. You get nothing. You can't do over. But by taking this split and doing this split 2 Wednesdays ago, it became passable. How do we know? We have the Democrats confirming, we have the Republicans confirming. This is a wonderful commentary in an op-ed on a very renowned conservative publication late last week that said the higher the recon price was, the harder it was to pass the recon. There you go. Confirmation. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take some of the stuff out of the recon and put in the bipartisan, roads and bridges, it made the price tag of the recon get smaller. Obviously, that's sort of obvious. In other words, the bipartisan made the recon easier to pass. There you go. Sorry, Mitch, set you up. There's nothing else to say about it. The GOP had nothing good out of blessing the bipartisan because it made the recon now passable. So there you go. That was the first benefit. By making the recon passable, then what? Well, here's what you need to remember is that the recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to vote on. So the recon is written by them. Who writes the recon? Lily writes it up. Subcommittees. Who's the lead subcommittee? The House. The House subcommittees, led by Democrats, write it up, with the Senate subcommittee watching over the shoulder as a team, not as adversaries, because it's the same party. And which subcommittee does what? Well, you have different subcommittees dedicated for different items. Under the Constitution, however, they have no obligation to give you transparency. They don't have transparency. They don't have to show you what they're writing. They don't have to tell you what they're putting in. They don't have to tell you what they're taking out. And that is a big issue because, as you're going to see later in this video, the subcommittee that's responsible for writing for stimulus checks say they're putting it in there. They can change their mind, after the time of this recording. They could change their mind, in dinner time tonight and take it out. So you have to push purple power. You can never put your feet up on that lazy boy chair and eat that donut and say, I'm done. I'm taken care of by that subcommittee. They can change their mind. But they can also change their mind the other direction. So first I want to go over the fact of the coverage of that they are changing their mind and adding stuff in. So we do have confirmation they're adding stuff in. And I want to go over then what the stuff adding in is. So here's the confirmation they're adding stuff in. Representative Ilhan Omar, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, the Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. There you go. And then Representative Richie Torres, Democrat of New York, says, I will refuse to vote for any bill unless it's linked to a larger recon. Now, what did he also say? He's added in housing. Housing? What housing? How does it work? Don't know. He doesn't tell us. We don't know. So there's two comments there. And then we have the third, which is the Progressive Caucus has repeatedly told the White House the recon has to go bigger. So you had a recon that was this big. They took out roads and bridges. It shrunk. And now they're just sort of adding a little bit, just a little bit. Here's what you need to know. It's that they're drafting. And when they're drafting, world events are changing. And in 6 hours, the whole world changed. Purple power. The whole world changed. World economies are crashing today. What's going on? China. We think that this policy signals and suggests that the Chinese economy is likely slowing. What? What do you mean slowing? Not rebounding? Yes, the Chinese economy is slowing, says Wing Zhang, chief economist, Pinpoint Asset Management. Japan. Economy slowing. And now on a state of emergency. Chinese government has announced a state of emergency banning all spectators from Olympic Games, saying that there is a big issue with Delta and also worried about economic recovery. Number 3, the stock market's crashing today. World economies are crashing. World exchanges are crashing as there's concerns that the economic recovery that we thought no less than 24 hours ago was there is not there. Wow. I mean, this is where it's trying to have pounds purple power. And you saw Missouri, more than 80% of all ICU beds are at full capacity. This is huge. So why is this big for you? Because, I forgot the most important one. Jobless claims. Jobless claims, which released every Thursday on this channel, covered on this channel every Thursday morning. For the last 60 weeks, this channel's been around. Jobless claims before the pandemic, 250 or 220 or 225 or something like that. Jobless claims number came in at 373. It was horrible. It went up a lot, and it didn't even beat a high-end estimate from Wall Street, 350,000. Horrible. So people do not have jobs. These are new jobless claims. These are not people who were employed before and lost their job, or people that are staying home because they don't want the job. These are people who just lost their job. They had a job and they lost it. It's huge. The economy is reversing. And finally, I might as well give you a spoiler. The 10-year Treasury note is falling. Why? Because there's worries that we not only don't have inflation, we have retraction. The economy is not growing in America. What? Is this an alternate universe? No, it just sort of, the whole economic universe sort of flipped itself on a lid in just 6 hours. So if you're watching this video and you're like, they got to extend FPUC, LA. They got to extend PEUC. They got to extend PUA. This is where those Democrats who are doing the recon in those subcommittees like House Ways and Means that oversees unemployment needs to put it in there. They need to put it in there. You need to push. This is the opportunity for you to push. Student loan debt forgiveness, got a lot of questions about that. They need to push and put it in there. Things are changing very quickly. We're not in a happy place at the moment with this world economic news today. So you need to use this as your opportunistic move and say, hey, here's the economic data. It's bad. You need to extend these other items. And you can't assume they're going to keep stimulus checks in there. They could take it out. But you also have to pounce because they're ready to put other stuff in there like housing. We don't know how it works. But you should push to get them to put other things in there like unemployment or student loan debt forgiveness or anything else that I haven't mentioned in this video. How can they get away with this? Because they're the protectors of the recon. Jalapal and Schatz talked about this recently, a few weeks ago. The White House has repeatedly told Schatz that the progressive priorities in the fourth stimulus recon are the White House's own priorities. Well, how did we get to this spot? From Jalapal. Jalapal had Richard Schumer a letter saying, Chuck called the vote. The letter was written by 12 House Democrats, actually signed by 12 House Democrats, who are part of the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president letter saying, we're going to put four stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to put fourth stimulus reoccurring monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Now that's huge. Who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee that's responsible for writing stimulus checks. It's called the House Ways and Means Committee. They wrote your third stimulus check. That was recon also. They're writing a fourth monthly, and they're writing a fifth. Now, you can't sit back and eat that dough and say, when am I getting it? You need to push, because these people can change their opinion at any time. But they're also on the House subcommittee, House Ways and Means, that's responsible for unemployment issues. So if you want them to do something with unemployment extension, tell them to do it. And they also wrote your first and second stimulus check. Can we top that? We can. As this week, the president finally got the official signature on that global minimum corporate tax rate. Yeah, he got overseas 3 weeks ago, but now it's made official this week. This is huge because it anchors fourth stimulus to the edge of the finish line. Fourth stimulus recon is written by Democrats for Democrats, but it was to have in there a provision about international corporate taxes. Makes it very complicated to write, hard to pass, confusing. Now he doesn't need it. It's in the international agreement. The international agreement has been signed. It's now official, which makes it easier to write the fourth stimulus recon by Democrats because you don't need the provision in there. Makes it easier to call the vote vote on the fourth stimulus recon for the Democrats because it's not in there anymore, and makes it easier to pass the fourth stimulus recon for the Democrats. Wow, can we top that? We can. As we go into the third and big finale, the last 15 minutes of this video are the 15 minutes you cannot miss. I go over the dates, the July 15th, the July 4th, the voting process, the vote, the bill, what's going on with this, what's going on with that, what's going on with the month of July, and what you need to do as well. Then we also cut to fifth stimulus with a surpriser that the raising up of your benefits a lifetime with that new benchmark in December got a major wrinkle today. I'll go over all those details, but something even more wonderful first is the volunteers. If you need that rent utilities and you're in that live chat and you see the people posting, if you haven't posted your money, that you post rent, utilities, or SNAP, post it right now. If you see those people and you've tried, you can't find it yourself, then consider reaching out to the volunteers. They're salt of the earth. They're viewers just like you. They're viewers helping viewers. How do you find them? In the description of this video. Open the description, you'll find an emoji. Next to that emoji is a link to the community page, news.la.com/community. On the community page is a list of all the volunteers. They'll help you with rent, utilities, internet, SNAP, and also homeowners issues like mortgage and homeowners utilities. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with that huge final 15 minutes. It will answer all your questions about fourth stimulus and finally fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on noontime with those final 15 minutes of recording. They're going to be huge, in which I go over everything you need to know about fourth stimulus, and it's all shocking. And then we also turn to fifth stimulus with the SSI and SSDI benefits reform, but what happened with the Treasury yield today? It's huge. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. 1 year and 400,000 subscribers. Best family there is. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for all the subscriber growth and all the wonderful viewership with me this week. You see like days like this where there's just a slew of breaking news. I mean, I've never seen so much breaking news in one day in this entire existence of this channel. And so dramatically different that you can't miss something because this is huge. It gives you an opportunity to pounce as well. And also like this video. Every time you like the video, it helps in the algorithm ranking and delivers some you'll play. And consider becoming a member. During the commercial break, Diane Davis had a great question. She said, what is the president going to do with states that have trying to stop or have stopped unemployment benefits? Great issue. I'm going to cover what the recon can put in there later in this video. But absolutely, they should make FPUC paid from the federal government to you rather than going through the states. The thing where the states make it voluntary and can elect to not participate, the federal government should just go around it and just pay the check right direct to you. IRS should send out the FPUC, not the states. They should do it totally different. Now, that would not give you PEUC because it would not be extending PUC, but FPUC should just come from the federal government. It would just make things easier. And that's a great question. Fifth stimulus is getting flipped on its lid today, folks. Fifth stimulus is that SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits reform. Let me go over why the things that are happening today are so much dramatic to this calculation. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. They'll remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Who gets this wonderful SSI, SSDI reform? You do. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, Survivor benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. This is in fifth stimulus, and it would raise your benefits up one big time. Then they'll apply a new benchmark, inflation. And that inflation rate was going one place, up, until today. Now it's not. What the world's going on here? I'll explain to you in 1 second. First, which you're certainly wondering, is fifth stimulus going to have another stimulus check? It will. The recon people that are writing a fourth stimulus recon represent that they'll give you a fifth stimulus check. This would be next year. It would not overlap. They'd figure out how one would end and the next one would pick up. Number two, the president is dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure you get your payments on time. This is third, fourth, fifth stimulus, and also monthly checks. Finally, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. File a tax return and request it on the tax return. There's actually a line for that. You haven't done that, you need to go to a tax preparer. What happened today, LALATE, that impacts this SSI reform? The worries that there's not economic recovery. After we heard that China, Japan, and world countries are having big problems and are not recovering from the pandemic, and then when we saw our jobs numbers come up and it showed we're not recovering from the pandemic, and then there's all that, Delta stuff also happening, then the 10-year Treasury note fell insanely in amount. 1.5%. Now, this is huge. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this number. It's just enormous. Ed Hyman, founder and chairman of Evercore, says the decline in the bond yields could be signaling that inflation burst is transitory. I mean, it's temporary. I mean, it's over. Or the Delta variant will slow growth. Although at 1.25% this morning, that seems extreme. It is extreme. What does this mean? Because let's go over how this calculates for fifth stimulus. They'll raise your benefits up one big time, what I just said. Then they'll apply the benchmark, which is inflation, every December, every end of this year for next year. And Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, and everyone else was saying inflation's going up. And if Jay Powell actually said inflation will reach its highest price point around December, and then it'll come down. He didn't say it's going to come down in July. Well, he's not. Wall Street is saying, oh, we're all being blindsided. Inflation went up and now it's going down in July. And that's the end of a high number of inflation. Well, here's what you need to know is that we have a long way till December or the end of this year till we see how that inflation rate is going to impact your stimulus. But I got to tell you this news. This is huge. So even if the inflation rate is 2-3% later when they apply the benchmark at the end of this year, your benefits will step up and you would get another 3% lifetime, not just next year. Next, they'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law. This is you can't have stimulus have more than $3,000 on hand, and also stay on benefits. Then they're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You will no longer fear the marriage penalty, and you'll no longer suffer marriage penalty benefits. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. But remember, that's not retroactive. And there you go. Now, if you're in the live chat and you see people posting the rent, the utilities, and their food and the internet they're getting, or you see them with a purple hawk emoji next to their name and you're like, how come I don't have one? And how come I don't have that money either? Then consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. There's also the word join under the video. By becoming a member, you're delivered from me to you daily all the big money you can get right now. When third stimulus was passed in spring of this year, I said, yeah, you get a $1,400 stimulus check. Yeah, that's easy. But I'll get you $14,000 because a lot of people on this channel qualify for enormous sums of money. Most do. And I want you to consider becoming a member so that you can go get this big money. Because money is money. And the more money you can get, especially when it's dedicated for you by the federal government earlier this year, the better you off are. So consider becoming a member. All right, with that, it brings us into the finale of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. I'm going to go over everything you need to know about the vote, the process, the dates, and everything. Number one, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi said 1,000 times, 1,000 times. The final vote on the recon will be by July 4th. Let's analyze that. Number one, they said by July 4th. So it's not like on July 4th. Number two, they said the final vote. So it doesn't mean the first vote, it means the last vote. So why did they not get it done by July 4th? Because by the time that they saw there was a problem, the recon was too big. It was unpassable. It was unpassable because it had roads and bridges in there. So they had to split it and take roads and bridges out. To which I would say is, yeah, but you split it 2 Wednesdays ago. That was before July 4th. So once you split it 2 Wednesdays ago, we still had more days before July 4th. Why not call the vote then? Because the reason is that there is enough Democrats who have said to Pelosi and Schumer and the president that the bipartisan has to be called for a vote somewhere in time close to, has to be called for a vote, around the time that they call the recon for a vote. To which I would say, okay, well, the recon the Democrats have represented is close to being finished or written, or is written, finished. Just call the recon for a vote now and just get to the bipartisan, October. The bridge has been crumbling for 50 years. It can crumble for 5 more weeks. We need our check now. Well, no. Apparently, there's some Democrats who say, no, you can't just sort of call the recon and get to the bipartisan a month later or 2 months later, or even 2 weeks later. That has to be really close in contemporary time. Now, the only way to pass the recon, it has to be called by a vote before the bipartisan or concurrently. But there's enough Democrats who say close to is not, a month apart, 2 months apart. Okay, so, why? So, well, if the recon's ready for a vote, and now the roads and bridges are out and it's been split for 2 Wednesdays ago. What's holding it up? Why are we not calling the vote? What's going on here? The bipartisan is not written. What do you mean the bipartisan is not written? The bipartisan is not written. It's not finally written. How much is written of it? We don't know, and they're not telling us. Wait a second. Where did this manifest itself? Who's to blame? It's the person to blame is the President of the United States. During his negotiations with Shelley Moore Capito in the month of June, the president met with the lead Republican negotiator, Shelley Moore Capito, on what he wanted for roads and bridges. She never came with a bill. She never came with a proposal. She never came with a pen and paper. She never came with anything written. And so ultimately, those negotiations fell apart. 2 Wednesdays ago, he met with the bipartisan group, and they agreed upon the split, and they did split. And once again, the bipartisan group had nothing written up. They had no bill. They had no draft. They had no deal memo. They have nothing written. Okay. Well, to which I would say, that was 2 Wednesdays ago, LALATE. How long does it take to write a darn bill? That we've been talking about these same roads and bridges for 3 months. How long does it take to write a bill? Well, this is where the foot has to be put down. This is 2020, #write the bill. It's unexcusable. These are legislators who are elected to Congress to write. They're not elected to Congress to go to lunch and flip pancakes, like the check. They're not there just to eat pancakes on our tax dollar. They're there to write bills. And it should not take them months on end or weeks on end to write a bill that everyone has been talking about for weeks. And here's what you need to know. It's a bipartisan bill. So it's not like it's your buddy in the same party as you, political party. It's your adversary on the other side of the political spectrum who you have to rank one. You got to get this written. This is unexcusable. The Americans' payments are being held up because you have not started or you've not finished writing a bill about a crumbling bridge that's been crumbling for 50 years. It sounds ridiculous. It really sounds ridiculous. This is unexcusable. So you have to push Purple Power. We're back to 2020. You have to push #write the bill. #write the bill. Now, let's go over the voting process. The voting process, I used to cover a lot on this channel. I haven't covered it lately, but I brought it back because I saw questions. People said, okay, well, so, maybe they'll call the vote tomorrow and it'll be done. Maybe they'll call the vote in like a half an hour and we're done. No, that's a dictatorship. Let me recap. This is democracy. You have 2 houses of Congress, House and the Senate, and the president, and they has to call for a vote in both places. Okay, so you just have, call for the House in the morning, call for the Senate in the afternoon, we're done. Nope. You have three bills here. You have the recon procedural, you have the recon substantive, and you have the bipartisan. Now, this is what I covered a lot on this channel for weeks. There are several steps you have to go through to approve the bill. Now, what I want to say to you is they don't have to do a different step every day. They can do multiple steps in 7 days. In this, they can do several steps in the same day. But how many steps is this? 12. 12 steps. It'll start on the Senate side and go over to the House. That's how they decided to do this voting. So it'll start in the Senate subcommittee, then the Senate floor, then the House, then the president. 4 steps for each bill. 4 times 3, 12 steps. So there you go. That is why this writing the bipartisan bill is really unacceptable. They got to write the bill. Next, dates. I love the viewers of this channel. They know dates better than I do. So there were people that were sort of floating through and said, well, I heard, maybe they'll get this forced stimulus check out on July 15th. And I'm like, where did this July 15th come from? Never came from me. I never said that date. I never said that date. Didn't come from Chuck or Nancy. I don't know where that date came from. Then the viewers that are subscribers and members said, no, that's the third stimulus check for the children. Oh, thank you. So yeah, the third stimulus check, which I do not cover on this channel, for the children is July 15th. I have nothing to do with that. I'm not covering that check. If you want me to cover that check, I will, but I'm really not covering the check because that's a whole other subject matter, that check. I'm covering 4 stimulus checks. So July 15th has nothing to do with 4 stimulus check. Finally, the big thing that you need to know is that as with legislators who are writing things up, you have to be opportunistic with these people. And today is the day to be opportunistic. This today reminds me exactly of that time in the summer of last year where I was outside. And I said to you, there's some economic data came in. It was really strong. The economy is doing well. It was like July. And it was like 1 week. Everything was very good. And I said, Mitch is not going to give you anything because everything is strong. And Nancy's going to be in trouble. And Ron Portman is going to not give you anything. And I said, it's days like this that worry me when the economic data is against you. Today, the economic data is really in favor of you. This economic data is horrible. It's horrible, horrible economic data. Last Friday, the president was doing a victory lap about how wonderful the economic data is. Today is the day for you to pounce and say, no, the economic data is horrible. We need a lot of money in this for stimulus. So we have a Chinese economy crashing. We have a Japan state of emergency because of Delta. We have a stock market crashing. We have jobless claims out of control. People who were employed lost their job in the last week. These are people who had a job, lost it. These aren't people who are staying home because they want more salaries. These are people who actually had a job. These are new claims. And then we have treasury yields out of control. And then we have ICBs at full capacity practically in some Midwest states. We have a problem. And that's why if I'm covering 2 or 3 subjects in this channel in this video, and you think there's 3 or 4 more items that need to be in the recon, pick up the phone and call your senator. If you think PEUC, PUA, FPUC need to be in there, if you think they need to be done differently, like Diane Davis had a great comment, can the president do something to pay it so that the Republican governors do not stop you from getting it? Call up your Democratic senator. Say, hey, you're working on this recon. It's not done yet. You haven't called the bill for a vote. Put this in there. If you want, I have a lot of questions for people of mortgage forbearance and student loan debt forgiveness. Make the push to get it in there. Finally, a personal message. I have a personal plea as well. I think that this president is not being bold enough in his economic stimulus. And I think he is being very narrow when you cannot be narrow. You cannot say, I'm only giving stimulus to this group of people. Because the economics you're seeing right now, the data shows that broad parts of this economy are not rebounding, not just one group. This is not like one group is struggling and everyone else is making fortunes. This data is very bad. You go around your town, whether you're a major town or a small town, you will see business closing. This president has made a very bad error in not providing stimulus for all subject matters, not just one subject matter. And I think this is going to really hurt him in the midterm elections if he doesn't turn it around quickly. No stimulus is more important than another stimulus, but leaving out other people's stimulus is not good. He should not have left out business stimulus. This is my personal opinion as I get a little bit opinionated now at the end of this video. He should not have left out business stimulus. EIDL grants should have been paid on the third stimulus. No one got paid. He should have extended PPP. He should have had another business grant. I remember Tia always asked every single day, where's that business grant to go start a new business? You want business creation. He appeared on broadcast news live on prime time on that Thursday night right after he's elected. I'm going to have a business grant to go start a new business coming out of this pandemic. No new business is starting because you didn't give any money for business to go start. And this is the shortcoming. I don't know when business money became a Republican issue and not a Democratic issue, and that children became Democrats' issues and businesses became a Republican issue. I don't know where that came from. It's not. So he needs to go big and bold now because this is getting is changing very quickly, and we don't even have Delta really at its formative yet. Delta could really get out of control. And so with that, thank you for joining me on this extended noontime broadcast. You saw how there's a lot of breaking news, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. And I got more for you on Afternoons LALATE and Evenings LALATE. It's a big day. I don't think I've seen a day like this in a long time. So with that, I look forward to seeing you at 3 o'clock for Afternoons LALATE and then 5 o'clock for Evenings LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers of YouTube record. Be part of this family. Fastest growing channel there is. 400,000 subscribers, next stop 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Also like this video. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member so you get that big money. I want you to get that big money. Get that $5, $10, $15, $20,000 this week. Get it right away. Money is money. I want you to get that money. It's yours there to get. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon and stay with LA Home.